Welcome to today's episode of Here for Cheer. Our first guest is an entrepreneur of the well-oiled machine of Steele Athletics. He's passionate about gym culture and about building the person before the athlete. And we're going to hear all about his story and more on today's episode of Here for Cheer. All right. Hello.
Hi.
So excited to have you here today. We have got the entrepreneur, the gym owner, the coach, and the lover of all things fitness, Mr. Brent Steele. So excited to have you on today.
Thank you so much.
I love it. And you are my first guest, which makes it extra special. But I first met you at Varsity University a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, I had been a huge fan of Steele and all of the things you're posting on your social media. I think your marketing is genius. It's so professional, and I think it truly describes your culture through your social media, which I think is so hard for us to do. And I was a fan of that. I think it portrays perfectly how important culture is to you at Steele Athletics, and that positive coaching and building a great athlete, a great person before worrying about being a great athlete. And I love that so much. And then, like I said, I met you at VU and I became an even bigger fan. You are just the best energy to be around. You can see how passionate you are about the kids you coach and about our sport and giving back to the industry. And it's so special. And I'm so honored to have you here for our very first podcast. So
Yeah.
why don't you tell everyone a little bit how you fell in love with the sport of cheer and how you opened the gym?
Perfect. Okay. Well, first, I've been fangirling over you for a long time. So I feel honored to even be able to sit here with you on this podcast, especially your first one. I can't wait to see how far it goes. You have so many amazing, relevant things to say. And so I'm excited for your journey as well. So thank you for letting me be a part of it. So I actually found cheerleading when I was a senior in high school, and I played competitive soccer, and I would like tumble down the soccer field when I would score a goal, I'm sure like a complete idiot is what it seems like now. But the cheerleading coach at the time, I was friends with her daughter, and there were a couple of us guys that could tumble. And so she recruited us to be on the like nationals team for our high school. And so we went to nationals. It was like American Legacy high school champion or all-star championship with a high school team. We just performed in the morning. Like, I don't even know if we competed against anybody, but we won. And it was so cool. At the time, I didn't even know what it was. I just knew that it had captivated me. So I ended up cheering in college. By the time I was done, graduated college, I had like a full-blown career in competitive cheerleading, kind of just budding and starting. And I would have had to take a pretty big pay cut from professional sports PR and marketing, which is where my degree was in, to like be able to go that way. So I decided to just ride the cheerleading train. At that time, I was coaching the university that I just graduated from. I was coaching a couple high school teams, and I was also managing an all-star program. And I was it felt like a big fish in a little pond moment, because the college team had just won nationals. We won Division II Advanced All Girl, and we won the very first Division II Stunt National Championship. That was the first year that had started. My high school team won NCAA High School Nationals. The all-star program was growing, and I felt like I wanted so much more. And I was doing choreography at that time in 7 different countries. So I was traveling all the time. I was everywhere. I was doing all the things. But deep down inside, I was actually pretty lost as an individual. I was struggling with some identity issues and just a lot of things of learning how to grow up and be financially responsible, also have all these jobs that were happening. I wanted more cheerleading, but I didn't know where to find it. And I happened to be on a choreography job in Norway. And we were talking to them, and they asked what it would take for me to move there. Like, would I ever consider moving to Norway to help mentor their competitive cheerleading program, as cheerleading was birthed in the United States, right? Like, anything that they can get from choreographers and coaches stateside is huge, because they don't have a ton of financial resources, that kind of stuff. So I did it. moved to Norway, sold everything I owned, moved 2 weeks later. Moved there, ended up being there for just shy of a year. It was the best experience of my life. It taught me so much about humanity and people, and it was great. I traveled so much, and then I ended up moving back to the States and decided to land in Colorado. I worked for a really big gym that was here at that time. And it was great. I loved it. I loved what I was doing. I just was kind of a square peg in a round hole. Like it wasn't really working. I was kind of a bad employee. I wasn't really following the rules because I felt like the rules needed to be broken. Like it felt like I needed to go a different way. And everything works for different people, like it takes all kinds of people and brands and gyms to make the world go round. But that one wasn't the one for me. And so I quit slash got fired. I think it was kind of both. If she ever watches this, I'm sure she'll chime in. But yeah, so it was good for all of us. But I ended up leaving, decided on a whim to open a gym. We had like 30 kids follow us around the city in Denver for like 8 months. We had summit bids before we had a building. We had world's bids before we had a building. We were practicing in parks and gymnastics gyms and all that kind of crazy stuff. And then it's just kind of exploded and it grew organically. We've really done no marketing. We are now because it's lovely. But yeah, it just kind of organically grew into this 5 gyms, 800 competitive kids, 70 coaches. It just turned into something so beautiful, and I'm really grateful,
Yeah.
really grateful.
Amazing. Yeah. And so deserved.
Thank
I
you.
mean, you can just tell that you were made for greatness and for great things. And how scary was it to go out on your own like that?
I don't know if it was childhood trauma or like just an innate uh thing, but like I'm a jumper.
Yeah.
Like
I
I'm
love
a
that.
jumper. They're like, you want to move 5 hours away and go to college, and your parents are moving to California, and I'm like, yeah, I'll go. I know nothing. And they're like, you want to move to Norway in 2 weeks and sell everything you own without knowing anybody? I'm like, yeah. And do you want to move to
I love
Colorado,
that.
never been before? Yeah. You want to open a cheer gym and you don't know anything? Sure. So I don't know what it was, false confidence or just been I've been taking care of myself since I was 14. And so
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
Yeah. That entrepreneur spirit, though, is kind of that you have to believe that nothing can stop you. And now a decade, 10
holy
years,
cow,
you've
10
had
years.
Steele, which is incredible and something you should be so proud of.
Thank you.
So, how about people that inspired you? Any mentors, anything like that,
Mm,
that kind of helped you in that journey in the beginning? And were those people that would believe in you and kind of helped you believe as well that you could succeed?
yeah, yes. So, in high school, it started even then. My
Mm-hmm.
high school cheerleading coach, her name was Michelle Martin, an
Mm-hmm.
incredible woman, an incredible woman.
Love
She
that.
spoke life into me. It was at a time where I was really broken on the home front. And she just was a pillar. And I don't even think she realized until later. But I like would go to her class and eat lunch. And like I was always just around her because she filled my cup full of joy. And I didn't get a lot of that outside of school. And so her definitely won. She's the one that encouraged me to pursue cheerleading. She saw it in me first. And then a college professor in my like 4,000 level classes, I almost another minor in leadership and communication. And one of the classes that I took was essentially you have to like learn how to unhick yourself when you're from Oklahoma. And so like really
Okay.
the goal of the class is if you're like speaking on a business front or you're somewhere really important, sometimes the slang like Oklahoma accent, country accent can be a deterrent for success. And so like,
Yeah.
this class sounds fun. And I ended up meeting the most incredible college professor, and I took every single one of her
Oh,
classes. And her name was Dr. Mary Pratt, and
love that.
Pratt Buchanan. And she was literally like amazing. I ate out of the palm of her hand pretty much. And I felt like everything she was teaching me has really been the majority of what I've been able to translate from college to gym ownership, right? There's not like a gym
Mm-hmm.
owner college degree. Um, her
Yeah.
leadership and communication classes were next level. My college cheerleading coach, David Owens, he actually is one of the owners of the Open Championship Series and All Star World Championships.
Okay.
Um, he
Yeah.
owns Rockstar. They own a lot of things now, but he uh, he was like a father figure to me, and it
Mm.
was his gym actually. So I trained under him at Central Oklahoma. I coached alongside him at Central Oklahoma after I graduated. And then I ran his
Oh,
all-star gym. I was like the gym director. I don't even really think I ran much of anything. I think it was more my title. But
yeah.
I was like, I didn't do anything really gym manager wise, but that was, and he taught me how to be a good person, and
Mm.
that kind of stuff comes first. And
Yeah.
there were some really big dogs in the market in Oklahoma City during that time. Like Twist and Shout was winning everything. Like they had these massive worlds teams and all this stuff. Like a tribe was winning all these things, and I ended up working for him, this little tiny gym, pink and blue. Goodness gracious, they're not anymore, but and he just sometimes the universe, God, whatever it is that you believe in,
Yeah.
things line up the right way. They line up the way they're supposed to. And there were parts of me that needed to be developed and really like nurtured to be able to help me level up as a human, to be responsible as a young adult, to learn how to just be
Mm-hmm.
a good person. And he helped me grow that garden. And he did it.
Oh,
He didn't have to do that, and he did. He's
I
been
love
one of
that.
the most influential people in my life, and it's cool.
I
It's cool
love
to see him.
that.
I get to see
Yeah.
competitions sometimes, and at big events, it's pretty great. I feel lucky.
That's so
Yeah.
special. Well, first, I think it's amazing that you remember where you came
Mm.
from. I think that's kind of lost nowadays in some ways. And I think it's so special that, you recognize that and then that it translate into what you do now, that you are becoming that for athletes in your program, you're teaching your coaching staff how important that is as well. And in today's world, the trophies, the jackets, that all it goes away and kids truly don't remember it at the end of the day, but the person that they become and the impact that you've had on their life is what's going to stick with them forever and make the biggest difference. And so I think it's really
Really,
cool what you're doing and so special.
thank you.
I
Mm.
love
Um,
that. So with that, and as you're saying, you have multiple locations. You've not only are you owning a gym, but you're also coaching, you're doing choreography, you're, living your life hopefully a little bit and getting some time for you. But how do you balance it? Like, what would your advice be to a gym owner to help balance that to-do list that's constantly there when they want to be on the floor with their kids and they want to be doing why they fell in love with this, job in the first place? What would your advice be to them?
I think my advice to a gym owner that's needing to find balance would be surrounding yourself with people that are better than you,
Mm-hmm.
and having people at your table that have skill sets that you don't have or that can outperform you in certain ways. It allows the
Mm-hmm.
delegation to be actually there, right? Because a lot of times we're like, yeah, you hear it at conferences and people will speak at you is what it feels like a lot of times,
Uh-huh.
and they're like, you need to delegate. And you're like, well, how do I even do that? Like I don't
Yeah.
have the people to do that or whatever. So I think I was fortunate. It happened on accident, but looking at it now, I'm really grateful that I did it. But I started that every single person that had a salary at Steele, they had to essentially take on some sort of managerial role, and it forced a lot of them to level up because a lot of competitive cheerleading coaches, they choose cheerleading because that's what they're passionate about, right? And like I talked about
Mm-hmm.
earlier, there's not like a degree in competitive cheerleading, and so a lot of them do not necessarily have a ton of real life work experience, so they don't come with a lot of years of experience in accounting or marketing or customer service. They grow up in
Mm-hmm.
the gym, and then next thing you know, they're on the floor coaching, and they have little experience in training in how to, I don't know, run a $400,000 high school program or run, book travel for hundreds of people. They had to teach them. And so throughout that time, I was able to teach all these people. And I did it because honestly, it was the only way that I felt like it was worth like paying them that much money.
Mm-hmm.
Like we just didn't have a lot of
Yeah.
money. And so if you're going to get a salary like that with healthcare and all these things, like you're going to have to do some of the management work. And
Yeah.
turn on accident, it now turned into this corporate management team of like 20 people, and they
I love
they
it.
run the ship. They run it. And
Yeah.
I still help them. I'm integrated in a lot of the things that happen at Steel. But there's a lot of things that I'm not integrated in. And honestly, it's one of the greatest things. Megan, I will tell you, I was at a gym, one of our gyms just recently, and this parent was like, "Which one's your daughter?" She had
That's
no idea who I
wild.
was. It was the
Yeah.
greatest thing because
But that's how it should
it
be.
is because I almost
Yeah.
failed like five years ago because I was too in everything, every decision,
Mm-hmm.
every piece, everything that needed to be lifted. I felt like I was lifting it with the managers that were doing it, but I
Mm-hmm.
was like Stretch Armstrong about to pop, and so I took a
Yeah.
little step back and essentially like forced the people that have all the tools and are totally capable, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
just go and just fly. And
Yeah.
now we're flying.
Oh, that's so good. And especially, it's so important that you not only manage athletes first. I think as a coach, you're managing the athletes and making sure that they're all growing and developing, but that you don't forget about how important that is for your staff
Yeah.
and giving them something to look forward to or to try to strive to be. And yeah, because it can be kind of, if you're only coaching, I think you lose the passion, you lose the love.
Yeah.
You don't want to give up every night and weekend for something that you're not
Yep.
feeling you're getting something out of and value and trusting them with
Yeah.
things that are so important to you. Like, I love that.
It
I love it.
develops
And
like a
there's so many things
Yeah, it develops a
that you do
deeper
at Steel.
appreciation. It develops like a deeper
Mm-hmm.
appreciation from the coaches, and they understand the bigger picture. Well, for the most part, it
Yeah.
kind of goes back to what we talked about when we were on that panel discussion at Varsity University about
Mm-hmm.
like the coaching staff is your direct arms and legs. Like
Yes.
I can't reach 800 kids. I just can't do it. It's impossible for me to do
No.
that. I physically coach 16 of them. And so there's hundreds of children that need love and guidance and care, tender care, right? And so we've
Absolutely.
got to be able to invest in the coaches that are the arms and legs of the machine because that machine has to be able to, at the very furthest end, be just as kind and caring and tender as it is at the heart of the machine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, what are some things that you do for your staff or with your staff that you think are unique at Steel that kind of keep them wanting to, be helping with that ship, that are like bought in? I mean, obviously, a salary, that's huge. I'm sure you take care of them in that way. But is there anything else that you all are doing, whether it be a bonding or a retreat or your weekly staff meetings or perks or anything like that, that you think helps, make it different at Steel?
Ooh, that's a good one. Was not on the interview questions.
I
Um, you know,
just know they must love you as a person to want to, you know, to be a part of this. It's got to be you. I'm sure that's a huge part.
I
And
appreciate that a lot.
um,
A very
yeah.
wise woman one time taught me at a conference. Her name is Liz. You know Liz.
Hmm.
I'm actually really
Hmm.
excited to see Liz this weekend at New Era Summer Spirit Fest. I'm speaking at that conference as well.
Oh,
Leaving tomorrow
yay.
morning, actually. But she had this concept of like A players and A leaders and B players and B leaders. I think I talked to you about it a little bit when we were in Phoenix. But I think that's one of the big pillars in our retention for our coaches. The fact that I will lead them. And a lot of times, leadership to people is distant, do as I say, not as I do. Do what I tell you. I'm in charge. That whole like mentality, and it's just not in my DNA. And I was one of those A players that was being led by a B leader, and it just was not
Hmm.
possible. I couldn't function. It wasn't there. And so I told myself if I ever sat in that seat to lead talented, amazing, incredible individuals, I have to be the best version of myself. Because if I
Hmm.
stop being the best version of me, I can't attract those people anymore. It's impossible. They're not going to want to sit at that table. So I think that's the first part is that I lead from the front, or at least I try. I think sometimes I come up short like any other person. But it's interesting because when I do come up short, I admit it, acknowledge it. And what's crazy is that they show me the most incredible compassion because I will
Oh,
be there for them whenever they need. I'll be right there with them. I'm toe to toe with them, standing 10 toes on whatever the situation is. I have their back at all times. And I think it's one thing to say that, but it's another thing to live that. And so I think that's one thing
yes.
we do at Steel. We have
I
an
love it.
intentional positive culture at Steel. And I use the analogy a lot that like there's good everywhere and there's also bad everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you choose to see and choose to look for is what you're gonna find. Like we just did a brand new renovation in the Denver gym, and we're moved into almost 30,000 square feet, brand new lobby. There's like a chiropractic physical center or physical therapy center going in. Like it's sick. It's so amazing.
Wow.
And my office is brand new. Like I got these cool lights, like everything's all cool. I got this cool wall behind me. I got all this stuff. But like if I choose to look for imperfections, guess what I'm gonna find?
Yes.
Imperfections. And so I'm constantly educating on positivity and mindset. And sometimes the upper level management at the gym is like, because we do a lot of staff trainings, a lot of them actually. And one time she was like, "Can we do some skill work?" I was like, we've been doing a lot of leadership. Like, can we do some skill work? And so I'm just fueling them full of leadership concepts, and it's really cool because then they rinse and repeat that on whatever front that they're
Mm-hmm.
on. So that's really helpful. And like I said about the intentional positivity, like at the end of all of our practices at Steele, we do 5 positives. So like all the kids, they have to find 5 positives. Sometimes it's hard. If practices are hard, it's
Yes.
hard to find the 5 positives. I do that for every single staff meeting, every
I
single
love it.
everything. But it's not 5 positives. It's everyone has a positive. So it takes about 15 minutes at the end of every single one of our meetings, and the staff just loves on each other, showers each other with
I love
praise.
it.
And sometimes it's hard because I'm having a really rough week or a really rough day, or I'm really mad because so and so didn't get me the numbers I needed for this program, and I didn't get to get my flyer done, and people are pissed, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
but if they're forced and it's innate, it's like ingrained in them. I know Brent's going to make us say something positive at the end of this meeting, and so then they
Yes.
start thinking about all the good, you know, and they start
I love
searching
that.
for the good. And in turn, it has really created like a force field of positivity.
Mm.
And it's like we can get through anything. So I think that helps. The pay helps. We pay really well,
Yeah.
and we're consistent.
I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's so good.
yeah.
Okay. So now tell me about your Guns N' Roses team.
Ooh, okay. So we're super pumped about guns.
Mm-hmm.
So in the past, we have had like 5 worlds teams. We've just had a bunch of them, and to be super frank, like we haven't really been super competitive, but that wasn't really our push. Wasn't really our goal. Our friends down the street in Denver were winning worlds and all the things, and it's super awesome to watch them do that. But that just wasn't really our focus. Like we wanted to be competitive, but more so we wanted to continue to grow, and then we wanted to make sure that like the depths of who we are, like when no one's around, no one's looking, right? The depths of who we are were so narrowed into our core values before we started trying to be competitive, right? Well,
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago, it was time. It was time. We have all these locations, we have all these teams. We're like, all right, let's take a step forward. Let's try to take a step forward competitively. Let's maybe level back our teams. So we started to level back our teams, and we did it like kinda. We were way more competitive, but we didn't take that big of a jump. And then last season, we went limited, and we cut all our
Mm-hmm.
world's teams. And we're like, you know what? We lost like 100 kids
Wow.
because we were just like, let's figure out
Yeah.
if we're going to be competitive,
Yeah.
it needs to start at the top, and we're going to
Mm-hmm.
go down to one world's team,
Yep.
and we went senior, extra small, or senior small co-ed limited. So we had 5 boys, we had 22 kids, we had all the things, and it was awesome. They were the most competitive team we've probably built to date at that time. They just had a really rough go. A really rough go. They couldn't hit under pressure. We had some culture issues within the team, some bad apples. And we had a big roster change in the middle of the season, and it just was it was insane, actually, if we're being honest. And we have those years sometimes, right? Well, it just
Yes.
so happened to be the
Absolutely.
year that we tried to stack this team, having
Yeah.
one of those years. And so we did it again. We cut back even more. We went to extra small co-ed. We have boys with doubles that didn't even make the team because we're like, we are
Yep.
picking the right kids, the right
Mm-hmm.
16. So we went down to limited, which has been really great, and limited extra small. And they're stupid, man. It's
I love it.
insane. Like they can hit anything we ask them to hit every time.
I love
And
it.
they have like 9 doubles. It's like I'm hopeful that this can be the year that we can try to put out the most competitive version of us possible. It's probably going to be our last time in limited. We have too much interest for world's teams, so I think we're going to go back to
Yeah.
having a couple of them next year. But they're
In
pretty.
your decade year, though, decade year, really something special. I love that. It
And
would be a good chapter.
Adrian Butler, awesome
Hmm.
friend, choreographer, does their routine, and I'm really excited. So we're getting him in a couple weeks. So it's fun times over here at Steel.
I love
Yeah.
it. And so somebody that wants to have a world's team in their gym and maybe doesn't yet,
Mhm.
what would you tell them to start building that, to get that interest, to just go for it?
Yep.
You know, when if you feel like you have enough, just get out there and get going.
Yep. Don't wait until you have the right time, because the right time never comes. That is how I feel
Yes.
that in my soul. And that's how I
Yes.
operate as an entrepreneur. If it doesn't feel all the way right, but you feel like you still need to jump, jump. Just jump,
Jump.
make it
Yeah.
happen. We had a world's team in our first year when we didn't even have a gym. I had to be on it. And we were not good, like at all. I think we had like one double, and
Oh.
it was rough, rough. Going back and looking at the video, I'm like, goodness, why did I let that? But if you don't actually lay the concrete, you
Yeah.
can't build the road. If you don't lay it down, you're not gonna be able to walk down it. So the road won't be
Yes.
there unless you just start pushing.
So many things that you shared at VU in our conversations, or as I came into your classes and just saw people loving everything
Thank
that
you.
you were giving. And I love that you're willing to share. I think that you are a leader. I mean, through and through, and everything, and the way that you're presenting yourself here in our conversations behind closed doors. Like you're amazing, and you are a leader and making such a difference. And I love that about you.
Thank
But
you.
what are some other things, or even like one good golden nugget takeaway of something that you do at Steele that you think everyone should do that maybe they don't all do? You know, like something that you guys do differently. I know you talked a little bit about your attendance and the way that you have people fill in. I love that you're, sensitive to kids' summers and, and being a kid and having that family time. But if there's something that you do that you think you could share with everyone listening that could make a difference to them, and something maybe they should start implementing or be inspired to do because of you, other than being a great leader and those things, what would that be?
Ooh. Um,
I know you do so much good stuff. It's hard to pick one.
oh, you're so sweet. I don't always see it that way. I always am trying to improve, and I try to push even when I feel like things are good. I try to find ways to make them better. I think it's just the growth mindset that's been ingrained in me. But I appreciate that sentiment. So I think two things. I think the first thing is that we always do what we say. Always. Even if it means that we're wrong, or it might not work out the way that we wanted it to, we will go all the way to the finish line with being wrong. And a lot of people won't do that. They'll
Yes.
tip and turn and curveball and upside down and all,
Mm-hmm.
because if they're like, now we need to do this, let's go. And we don't realize that we're stringing along a lot of parents along that journey of us trying to figure it out. When in
Mm-hmm.
reality, like, this is such a small piece of what they do with their life, but it's everything to us, right? And so it's
Yes.
more important to be consistent and to
Mm-hmm.
what you say you're going to do than it is to be like a little bit more right, or a little bit more competitive, or a little bit more X, Y, and Z, changing the schedule, changing practice schedules. Like, we had to change our practice schedule last year, and we never change schedules, like, ever. They get their
Mm-hmm.
schedule in at the end of May, and it does not change until they're done, like, at all. We have three different practice schedules. Like, so we have a summer schedule, a fall schedule, and a winter schedule, and those dates never change. And we were supposed to do this gym expansion last year, and it fell through, and we were too big. We had no option but to change some practice schedules, and it was
Mm-hmm.
awful. Like, I don't know how people do that all the time because we never
Yeah.
had to do it, and we had to do it because of necessity. And dude, it was hard, hard, hard. So I
Yeah.
would say do what you say you're going to do, even when it hurts, even when it
I
hurts.
love that.
If you mess up the profit margin on your uniform, me, don't
Mm-hmm.
change it. Because in the trial pack that you
Mm-hmm.
released in February, it says that uniform was going to be X dollars. And when they signed their financial
Yes.
agreement in May, and that uniform is raised $50 because I was wrong, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Eat the
Yes.
money. Eat all the things.
Yep.
People want to be able to trust that if Brent Steele says we are going to do this, but when it's time for us to do that, we're going to do it. And
No, I love
that
that.
has helped a lot build culture within our gym,
Mm-hmm.
because we show up and we do what we say we're going to do. And a lot of times it's follow up, like follow through. Um,
Yeah.
and like, if I have a parent meeting and I'm like, hey, I'm going to follow back up with you in a week to see how it's going, and I don't follow up in a week,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, it's that times 100 families per location or more, whatever. It's like that. It's making sure that that's there. Um, I think the second thing is truly, truly understanding that the children come first. And a lot of people don't, a lot of coaches don't treat it that way. There's this like weird false narrative ego, like I'm so amazing in the world of life because I won NCAA, and then all of a
Yes.
sudden they're like
Yes.
speaking so negatively and derogatory and angry and belittling and all these things. And I'm like, you realize
Mm-hmm.
this is cheerleading, right? Like it's just cheerleading.
Yes.
And so at the end of the day, they put themselves on these big pedestals and wear their capes around the warm-up room and like flaunt themselves, which is
Mm-hmm.
fine. It takes all kinds to rule the world. I said that, but that's not what
Yes.
we feel. And we
Yes.
provide a very intentional customer service relationship with the
Mm-hmm.
business. And so when they email, they get a professional email response. When they walk in the gym,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have coaches that look like they just woke up with their hair on their side of the head. Like they're put together. They're wearing closed-toed
Mm-hmm.
shoes. Like we're like
Yes.
intentional about our culture at Steel and
Everything.
the way the
Yeah.
customer service is there, that relationship. Like if something's
Mm-hmm.
wrong and they're upset, we will give them free classes for a month. Or if
Mm-hmm.
if we messed up, I'll refund their uniform.
Yes.
It's like we always do the right thing. Like just right
Mm-hmm.
now, hopefully there's none of our half season prep people on this call or that are going to listen to a podcast. Hopefully they all do actually, but hopefully they're
Yeah.
not for this purpose. But we have had a typo and in our welcome packet because I didn't check it.
Mm-hmm.
One of our like branding people copied it from our elite program, and in our elite program, if you pay in full, you get a 5% discount. And so that verbiage was in our prep packet, and we don't do that for prep.
Yeah.
And our billing director was like, I've had a couple people ask for it and I'm going to tell them no. And I was like, you're going to tell them yes
Yep.
because it says it in our packet. He's like, but
Yeah.
it's not in
I
the
love
agreement
that.
that they signed. I'm like, I don't care. It was in a package that
Mm-hmm.
they received that has Steel Athletics branding on it. It's our fault. So give them
Yeah.
a discount. It's like to the nth degree. If we said we're
I
going to
love
do it, we're
that.
doing it.
Mm-hmm. And I think so many gym owners struggle with that, with being human,
Yeah.
to and remembering that they are customers. At the end of the day, they are our customers. We like to have the relationships, and that's important as well, but they are our customer, and we have to make sure that we're providing that amazing service like you are. I mean, I love that. And admitting that we're people and that we make mistakes. I think it allows our kids to make mistakes when they see that we do that as well.
Mhm.
Also, you talking about, the pressures and how the winning can sometimes and the ego and all of those things. I agree with that so much. For when we get into summit and end of the season stuff, we have our athletes put a picture of them as a baby or like when they first started cheering on their lock screen of their phone, just to remind them, like, this is who you started for. This little girl is what we're doing, or this little guy,
I'm
or
going to
like
do
this
that.
is who you
I'm
were.
taking that.
Oh, and then I put it as a lock screen on my phone just to remind myself, because you know how end of the season gets. Like
Mm.
everybody is fired up and the pressure's there, and you feel like you want to please your parents, you want to please the kids, you want to make their dreams come true. But remembering at the end of the day that those little kids are why we did this, why we fell in love with the sport,
Absolutely.
and it's a good one. And I hope you use that down the road. It is
I don't know
special.
how I'm gonna put
Um,
all those kids on my lock screen, but
yeah, I know.
that's a lot of children to put on a lock.
It's great and it's so fun. I love that so much.
Yeah.
Amazing. And then my last kind of thing for you is, what's the biggest kind of like mistake you've made in your career, whether it be something as a gym owner, as a coach, and then that you could give that kind of advice to someone listening that they could take away and not make the same mistakes.
Mm, yeah, there's been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of
Oh,
mistakes.
I know.
Um, I think I think a mistake for me, for sure, was
Hmm.
having a business partner without a plan.
Love that.
I went
Yeah,
through a
that's
pretty
great.
nasty business divorce about 5 years
Hmm.
ago, and it was tough because we
Yeah.
just wanted such different things, and um,
Hmm.
what I felt like we agreed upon verbally in the beginning of our business journey just was not coming to fruition, and I cared about the kids, and she wanted the money, and we all know there's not money in this thing, okay?
No, no,
There's not enough money to do whatever it is you're trying to do. So it's just not,
no.
that
Yeah,
would be one is, I do some gym owner mentorship, as well on the side. And,
I love that.
and I always encourage business operating agreements like a prenup, man. When it's feeling great,
Mm-hmm.
sit down and figure out what you're going to do if it's not going to get great, because that was really, really taxing, for me as
Mm-hmm.
an individual. That was really hard. I also think another mistake that I have made that took me a while to figure out is this is gym ownership and competitive cheerleading gyms and whatever youth sports organization, that you're a part of at a top leadership level. It's not about you. It's about the pulse of the people within your organization. And so once I started focusing on that pulse and not about what I wanted or what I thought was right, right? Because I'm one human affecting thousands of families, right? And yeah, I might not know what's best. And that's hard to rationalize and even hard to like think about, because when you sit in that seat, you're like, I know what to do, but we don't
Mm-hmm.
always know. And so being able
Mm-hmm.
to do end of season focus groups and talk to your staff, like I do things at Steele to where, we do like blind spots to where I talk to them 2 times a year. Every single employee at the gym, I talk to them 2 different times a year to look through their lens and try to tell me anywhere where our foundation can be cracked. Like, is there
I love
anything from
that.
your perspective that you think we're missing, that I'm missing?
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
intentional. And I do that with parents. I do that with families. I do that with
Love it.
kids. I'll talk to Guns N'
Mm-hmm.
Roses and be like, y'all, what are you thinking? And when people recognize that they're a part of something that's malleable and and that if all of a sudden, like we all wanted to go try going away from varsity and trying something different, when all that lawsuit stuff happened, my clients were like, we want to be out of here. We want nothing to do with this. And so I had a moment of like, do I listen to them? I did. We went away for 2 years. We did not go to a single varsity event. And it's just like it's because my clients, they feel like when they get to have an opinion about what's happening to their child, they'll
Mm-hmm.
go the depths for you. They'll go the distance.
Yeah.
They will do whatever, and they continue to show up. So I think that understanding that it's not all about you, it's about the pulse of the people within your organization that you have the
Mm-hmm.
privilege of leading. Um,
Oh,
I think,
you're so good. You're so good. And so what's next? Like what's on your next vision board?
I'm
That's
so
our
glad you
last
said that.
promise is the last
I mean,
one,
we
but
can talk
like,
about
yeah, I know you're not settled. I know you're not settled and done.
that. Mm-mm.
So I know you want more. What is next?
Um, Two things. The
Mm-hmm.
first is that there were a lot of pieces in steel, like depths of things, like back end, back end, back end, or SOPs for X, Y, and Z, or like just things that needed a lot of attention, a lot of attention. And so I've taken the past couple years to really like do a little home renovation, like fixing the things
Okay.
that are squeaking and really kind of getting to the bottom of like why the garbage disposal is broken, like things like that. Like not,
Yeah.
I'm using that as a metaphor, but like
Yes.
really, and fix
Yeah.
some things. And in that self-discovery in the business, I closed a location. The first time I've ever closed a location.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, the managers of that location really wanted to open their own gym, and so I helped give them a diving board to launch themselves into that gym ownership, because it was
That's great.
awesome for them. And so it was sad to see them go because they're like our family. But
Mm-hmm.
so I'm really cleaning house right now to make sure that we are the best version of us for what's next.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's next is I will expand again at some point. We'll have another Steele, at another point. We got a couple things in the works, and then also commercial real estate. I want to start building the gyms that we're in, so I can
Yes.
provide a more financially secure business. So I can try to do like big 401k programs and increase salaries. And I want to take care of the people that have helped propel this forward.
Oh,
So that's my goal is eventually the product
roots and
matter.
wings.
Absolutely. Roots and wing.
Roots and wings.
Hmm.
I love that.
Yeah,
Ah, well, thank you so much for being my very first
of
guest.
course.
Again, I am the biggest fan. I'm a bigger fan now, if that's even possible. I think what you do is so special. You have so much wonderful positivity to give the industry, to give the kids, your families. They are so lucky to have you. I hope they know how lucky they are to have someone like you leading the way for Steele Athletics. I can't wait to see how your Guns N' Roses team does this season and all of your teams and all of your locations. And I'm just so grateful to call you my friend. And like I said, so honored to have you here.
Thank you.
Make sure everybody that's listening to follow and share and subscribe and all those wonderful things so we can reach even more people. And again, you're going to forever go down as my first guest. Brent, it means so much to me.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'll see you soon.
All right. See ya. Thanks.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. It means everything to us. The whole purpose of Here for Cheer is having a place that parents, coaches, gym owners, anyone who loves the sport of cheerleading could come and hear stories and get takeaways and advice and, the real deal of what cheerleading is and the positivity that it can bring to athletes' lives and the difference it can make. And I hope that you got something great out of today's episode, and I hope you'll tune in again. Thanks.
See our grit, all we have to do is hit